My dear friend, today I simply want to speak to you, not with heavy concepts, not with complicated lessons, but with a heart that genuinely cares. Sometimes life becomes so loud, so rushed, so difficult, that we forget something very simple: we are human. And being human means we have emotions, we make mistakes, we get tired, we fall down, we rise again, and we keep learning. This message is a gentle reminder that you are doing far better than you think. Life doesn't always unfold the way we imagine. There are twists that confuse us, turns that scare us, and pauses that frustrate us. But if you just take a moment to breathe, you'll notice something powerful. Every challenge you once thought would break you actually shaped you. Every difficult season taught you something about your strength, your heart, and your capacity to endure. You didn't just survive life, you grew through it. Sometimes we forget our own value because the world keeps telling us to be more, earn more, achieve more, and prove more. But my friend, your worth is not based on how much you do. It's based on who you are. You are already enough, already worthy, already capable of creating meaning in the lives of people around you. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You don't need to have everything figured out to be deserving of peace. There will be days when you feel lost. There will be days when your heart feels heavy. There will be days when motivation slips away. Those days do not define you. They simply remind you that you need rest, reflection, compassion, and a little bit of patience with yourself. The same way you extend kindness to others, you deserve to extend it to your own inner world. Walk gently with yourself. Celebrate your small wins. Appreciate your growth, even the kind you cannot see. And whenever you feel alone, remember this: someone out there is genuinely grateful that you exist. You bring meaning, love, presence, and hope into this world in ways you may never fully understand. So this is my heartfelt note to you. Keep believing, keep glowing, keep learning. Most importantly, keep being you, because who you are is a gift to this world. And I'm grateful that your journey and mine crossed paths today. The idea that you are doing far better in life than you give yourself credit for is something many people struggle to truly believe. Most of us live in a constant state of comparison, comparing our journey with people who seem more successful, comparing our achievements with those who appear to have smoother lives, comparing our efforts with those who seem naturally gifted. In this comparison-driven world, we forget an important truth: our real progress is often invisible, internal, and deeply personal. Every step you've taken, no matter how small or unnoticeable to others, has required courage, resilience, and emotional strength. And that alone is worth recognizing. Think about the challenges you've already faced in your life, the silent battles you fought when no one was watching, the nights you couldn't sleep because your mind was full of worry, the days you carried yourself forward, even when your heart felt heavy. These moments may not appear on any achievement list, but they are proof of growth. Most people underestimate how much strength it takes just to keep going, to wake up each day and try again despite yesterday's disappointments. That strength is in you, and it has always been in you, though you rarely give yourself the credit you deserve. Life moves so quickly that we rarely pause to acknowledge how far we've come in the. You've healed from experiences you once thought would break you. You've overcome fears that once paralyzed you. You've let go of things that were weighing you down, even though letting go was painful. You've made decisions that required bravery, trusted people again after being hurt, and found hope again after losing it. These things don't come easily, yet you manage to do them. That by itself is an achievement far greater than any certificate, trophy, or applause. The world often rewards visible accomplishments, titles, money, recognition, status. But your deepest growth is rarely visible. It happens inside your heart, inside your thoughts, inside your quiet moments. Sometimes the biggest victory is simply choosing to not give up. Sometimes it's the ability to speak kindly to yourself after years of being your own harshest critic. Sometimes it's forgiving someone who never apologized, or forgiving yourself for something you did not know better about at the time. These shifts are silent, but they are powerful. They show maturity, awareness, and emotional evolution. You might not be exactly where you want to be yet, but that doesn't mean you haven't made progress. Growth doesn't happen in straight lines. It comes with ups and downs, stops and starts, confusion and clarity. Just because your journey doesn't look perfect doesn't mean it's not valuable. Every day you are learning, evolving, adjusting, and becoming a version of yourself that is stronger and more understanding than before. You may not see it clearly, but others around you do. They see the way you've changed, the way you handle situations differently, the way you've started thinking with more maturity and compassion. Remember that your journey is yours alone. No one else knows the storms you walked through, the tears you held back, or the battles you fought in silence. So stop judging yourself based on a standard that was never meant for you. You are progressing at your own pace, growing through your own experiences, and becoming the person you were meant to be. You are doing far better than you think, far better than your doubts allow you to believe, far better than your fears whisper in your ear. If only you could see yourself from the eyes of someone who admires you, you would realize how strong, capable, and extraordinary you truly are. The challenges you face in life are not punishments or signs that you are unlucky. They are teachers quietly shaping your strength, your perspective, and your character. When we are in the middle of a difficult moment, it often feels like life is unfair or that we are being pushed beyond our limits. But if you look back at the toughest chapters of your past, you will notice something remarkable. Those very moments, the ones that felt impossible, slowly turned you into a wiser, braver, and more grounded version of yourself. Challenges are not there to break you, They are there to reveal you. Every struggle carries a hidden lesson. You may not recognize it immediately, but each hardship comes with knowledge that comfort could never teach. If everything in life went smoothly, you would never discover how strong you truly are. You wouldn't learn the depth of your patience, the power of your resilience, or the clarity of your intuition. Difficulties force you to pause, reflect, and grow. They make you question what truly matters. They push you toward decisions you long avoided. They bring out qualities you didn't know you possessed. A challenge doesn't just test your strength, it builds it. Think about the times you felt heartbroken, disappointed, or overwhelmed. At that moment, it probably seemed like the world was collapsing around you. But slowly, you gathered yourself. You picked up the pieces. You learned who deserved to stay in your life and who didn't. You discovered what habits were harming you and what changes were necessary for your peace. You realized that healing was not about forgetting, but about understanding. Each challenge refined you, sharpened you, and moved you closer to the person you are becoming. Life's difficulties also teach you empathy. Once you have walked through something painful, you understand others more deeply. You stop judging quickly. You listen more carefully. You become someone who can offer comfort because you know what it feels like to need comfort yourself. Hardships soften the heart in a powerful way. They make you more human, more compassionate, and more connected to the experiences of others. This kind of emotional growth cannot be learned from books or advice. It is lived and felt through real struggle. Sometimes challenges come to redirect your life. What seems like a setback may actually be a setup for something better. A failed plan might be saving you from a path that was never meant for you. A rejection might be pushing you toward opportunities more aligned with your purpose. A loss might be clearing space for something new to enter. Life often removes what no longer serves your growth, even when you're not ready to let go. In the moment, it feels painful, but later you understand that it was necessary. The beauty of challenges is that they don't leave you the same. They stretch your mind, strengthen your emotional muscles, and deepen your understanding of life. You start to see that every obstacle carries wisdom that guides you toward maturity and inner strength. Even the smallest struggles, like losing patience or dealing with stress, are shaping you in subtle ways. You learn to adapt, to stay calm, to trust yourself, and to keep moving forward even when the path is unclear. So the next time life feels heavy, remind yourself that there is meaning hidden beneath the difficulty. You are not facing challenges because you are weak. You are facing them because you are strong enough to grow through them. And when you look back someday, you will realize that these very moments were the stepping stones that made you who you are. Your worth has never been defined by how much you achieve, how much you earn, or how perfectly you perform. Yet the world constantly pushes this idea onto us. From a young age, We are taught to measure our value through results, grades, awards, job titles, or social approval. Over time, this conditioning becomes so deep that we begin to believe that unless we are achieving something extraordinary, we are not enough. But your worth is not a trophy to be won. It is an inherent part of who you are. You are valuable because you exist, because you feel, because you care, because you love, because you try. You don't need to earn your worth. You simply need to remember it. Many people live with silent pressure, believing that they need to constantly do more to justify their existence. When they rest, they feel guilty. When they slow down, they panic. When they fail, they feel ashamed. This inner burden comes from the mistaken belief that worth is conditional, that you must meet a certain standard to be accepted. But the truth is, worth is unconditional. Even on the days when you do nothing productive, you are still deserving of love, respect, and peace. Even when you make mistakes, you still matter. Even when you feel lost, you still hold value. It is not your performance that makes you precious, but your presence. Look at a child. A child cannot earn money, achieve milestones, or impress anyone. Yet we consider a child incredibly valuable. Why? Because their worth has nothing to do with achievement and everything to do with simply being alive. That same principle applies to you even as an adult. Somewhere along the journey, you forgot what you once knew instinctively, that your value comes from your heart, your inner goodness, your intentions, and your humanity. Life's challenges may have made you question yourself, but they did not reduce your worth. I think about all the people whose lives you have silently impacted without even realizing it. The friend you comforted, the family member you supported, the stranger you smiled at, the person who felt encouraged just because you listened. All these moments prove that your value lies in the way you show up, not in what you achieve. Sometimes the greatest impact you make is not through grand accomplishments, but through small acts of compassion that ripple outward in ways you may never see. Even your struggles add to your worth. The pain you endured has made you deeper, more understanding, more resilient. The mistakes you made have taught you wisdom that success never could. The failures you experienced have shaped your humility and compassion. Every experience, good or bad, has added layers to your character. You didn't lose worth when things went wrong. Instead, you gained insight, maturity, and strength. The problem is that you often look at yourself through unfair lenses. You judge yourself by comparing your worst moments to someone else's best moments. You underestimate your gifts because they come naturally to you. You dismiss your qualities because you think they are ordinary, but what you consider ordinary may be extraordinary to someone else. Your kindness, patience, courage, and empathy, humor, creativity, and sincerity, all these qualities make you valuable in ways no achievement can replace. Your worth does not rise when you succeed, nor fall when you fail. It is constant. It is stable. It is unshakable. You are worthy on the days you shine and on the days you struggle. You are worthy when you feel strong and when you feel broken. You are worthy even when you forget your own worth. The key is to stop measuring yourself through the lens of achievement and start seeing yourself through the lens of humanity. Who you are matters more than what you accomplish. And who you are is already enough. Life has a way of unfolding in ways we never expect. Sometimes you plan everything down to the smallest detail, where you want to go, how you want things to turn out, what you hope to achieve, and then something happens that disrupts the entire picture. In those moments, it is natural to feel confused, disappointed, or even frustrated. But if you look closely you'll notice that the twists and turns you didn't plan are often the very experiences that shape you the most. They challenge your assumptions, push you beyond your comfort zone, and reveal depths of strength and understanding you didn't know you possessed. Growth doesn't always come from your carefully crafted plans. Sometimes it comes from the unexpected detours life places in your path. Think back to moments in your life where nothing went the way you hoped. Maybe a relationship ended, leaving you heartbroken. Maybe a job didn't work out, leaving you uncertain. Maybe a dream you held on to for years suddenly slipped away. At first, it probably felt like everything was falling apart. But later, sometimes much later, you realize that those disruptions were guiding you towards something better. You learn things about yourself that you never would have learned if everything had stayed comfortable and predictable. You learned resilience. You learned self-trust. You learned to rebuild. You learned to let go of what wasn't right for you, even when it hurt. Life's unexpected twists are often blessings disguised as challenges. They push you onto new paths, introduce you to new people, and open you up to possibilities you never considered. Sometimes the direction you thought was right for you isn't actually aligned with your purpose, and life gently or forcefully steers you somewhere else. At the time, it may feel unfair or confusing, but with distance and wisdom, you begin to see that these redirections had meaning. They were placing you exactly where you needed to be, even if you didn't understand it immediately. The beauty of these unexpected moments is that they teach you flexibility. They remind you that you don't have everything under control, and that's okay. They encourage you to loosen your grip on the idea of perfection and embrace the idea of possibility. You start realizing that life isn't about everything going according to plan. It's about learning, evolving, and discovering who you become through each twist. The detours you encounter shape your story in ways that enrich it with depth, emotion, and wisdom. These twists also reveal your hidden strengths. When something doesn't go the way you expected, you are forced to dig deeper, to find courage you didn't know you had, to solve problems with creativity, and to adapt with grace. You develop emotional endurance, the ability to stay calm in uncertainty, and the capacity to rebuild with hope. These qualities are not formed through easy moments. They are born in the middle of chaos, confusion, and change. You may feel shaken when life takes an unexpected turn, but those moments are quietly turning you into someone stronger, more grounded, and more capable. It is easy to trust life when everything goes smoothly. The real test is trusting it when nothing makes sense. But if you look back at the chapters of your life that once confused you, you will notice a pattern. Every time something fell apart, something else eventually came together. Every time a door closed, another opened, even if it took time. Every twist brought you to a different version of yourself, a wiser version. And that is the silent gift hidden within every unexpected turn. It doesn't just change your direction, it changes you. You spend so much of your life offering kindness to others, listening to their struggles, comforting them during their low moments, encouraging them when they doubt themselves, and forgiving them when they make mistakes. Yet somehow, when it comes to yourself, you forget that you deserve the same tenderness. You hold yourself to standards that you would never impose on anyone else. You judge yourself more harshly, expect yourself to be stronger than humanly possible, and criticize yourself for things you would easily understand in someone you care about. But the truth is, you also need compassion, you also need gentleness, you also deserve forgiveness, patience, and understanding from the person who matters the most, yourself. Self-kindness is not self-indulgence, nor is it weakness. It is a necessary part of emotional well-being. Just as plants need sunlight and water to thrive, your inner world needs care, gentleness, and acceptance to function in a healthy way. When you constantly pressure yourself, you exhaust your mind. When you constantly criticize yourself, you damage your self-esteem. When you never give yourself room to rest, you drain your spirit. But when you treat yourself with kindness, when you speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love, you begin to heal. You begin to grow. You begin to live with peace rather than pressure. There are days when you feel low for no clear reason. There are days when motivation disappears, days when mistakes feel heavy, days when everything seems to go wrong. On those days, what you need isn't more judgment. What you need is understanding. Understanding that you are human, that you are trying, and that it's okay to not feel okay all the time. If someone you cared about came to you with the same struggles, you wouldn't scold them or call them weak. You would reassure them, comfort them, and remind them of their worth. It's time you start offering yourself the same compassion. Self-kindness also means acknowledging your efforts even when results aren't perfect. You try hard every day, maybe harder than people realize. You carry responsibilities, fight silent battles, manage emotions, and navigate uncertainty. Instead of dismissing your efforts, acknowledge them. Celebrate your progress, even if it feels small. Growth doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's just getting through another day with courage. Sometimes it's choosing patience over anger. Sometimes it's waking up and trying again. These are victories, even if they are silent ones. Another part of being kind to yourself is letting go of unrealistic expectations. You don't need to be strong every minute. You don't need to be productive every day. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to please everyone. When you allow yourself to be imperfect, you create space for peace. You allow yourself to breathe, and in that breath, you find clarity and calmness that pressure can never provide. Forgiveness is an essential aspect of self-kindness. You have made mistakes, just like every human being. But you don't deserve to carry guilt for a lifetime. You don't deserve to replay your past in your mind as if punishment will change it. What's done is done. What matters now is what you learned and who you are becoming. Mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs that you are living, growing, and discovering. Forgive yourself the way you would forgive someone you love deeply. At the end of the day, you are the person you spend the most time with. Your relationship with yourself shapes your entire experience of life. When you are gentle with yourself, you move through the world with more confidence. When you are kind to your own heart, you find it easier to be happy. You deserve love, not only from others, but from yourself. Treat yourself with the same warmth and understanding you freely give to the world. There will always be days when everything feels heavier than usual. Days when your thoughts seem tangled. When your energy feels drained, and when even the simplest tasks feel overwhelming. These difficult days do not define who you are. They don't mean you are weak, incapable, or failing. They simply reveal your humanity. Every person, no matter how strong, disciplined, or optimistic they appear, has days when they feel defeated or unmotivated. You are not alone in this. And you are certainly not broken for feeling this way. Often, we expect ourselves to function at our best every single day. We forget that we are not machines. We go through emotional cycles, physical shifts, mental fatigue, and periods of uncertainty. When you understand that difficult days are a natural part of life, you stop treating them as personal failures. You begin to see them for what they are. Moments that remind you to slow down, rest, and reconnect with yourself. Sometimes your mind is not asking you to work harder. It's asking you to pause. Sometimes your heart is not losing strength. It's asking for space to breathe. On difficult days, your inner critic becomes louder. You might catch yourself thinking, you're not doing enough, not moving fast enough, or not achieving what you should. But that voice is not the truth. It's a voice shaped by stress, fatigue, and pressure. If you responded to that voice with kindness instead of criticism, you would notice a shift within yourself. Imagine how you would comfort a friend who feels low. You would remind them of their worth, their progress, and their strength. When you apply that same compassion to yourself, your difficult days become easier to navigate. These heavy days also teach you valuable things about your emotional world. They help you recognize your limits, your needs, and your vulnerabilities. Without these moments, you might push yourself endlessly, ignoring the signals your body and mind are trying to send. Sometimes, your soul whispers through silence, through tiredness, through a lack of motivation. It tells you that you need rest, reflection, or simply time away from constant effort. Listening to these signals is not weakness, it's wisdom. It is also important to remember that growth is not measured by how well you perform on your best days, but by how gently you handle yourself on your hardest ones. Anyone can stay positive when everything is going right. True strength is the ability to keep moving forward, even if slowly, when everything feels difficult. On those days, showing up for yourself, even in small ways, is a victory. Getting out of bed, doing basic tasks, taking care of your well-being, or simply surviving the day with patience are all signs of inner resilience. Difficult days often bring clarity. When you feel overwhelmed, it becomes easier to identify what truly matters to you and what doesn't. You begin to see which responsibilities are urgent and which pressures are unnecessary. You understand which relationships uplift you and which drain you. Hard moments strip away the noise and reveal truths that busy days often hide. They guide you back to your priorities and help you realign with your values. And perhaps the most important aspect of difficult days is that they don't last. You have lived through tough days before, and you came out stronger. You will do the same again. Emotions are temporary, energy is renewable, and clarity always returns. Just because today feels heavy doesn't mean tomorrow won't feel lighter. Life is full of ups and downs, and both are essential parts of your journey. So when you face a difficult day, remember this: you are not failing. You are feeling. And that is perfectly human. Rest, reflection, and self-compassion are not luxuries. They are essential ingredients for genuine growth. Yet many people treat these moments as signs of laziness or lack of ambition. You may have spent years believing that you must constantly push yourself, constantly stay productive, constantly stay ahead. But real progress is not born from non-stop effort. It is born from balance. A mind that never rests becomes exhausted. A heart that never reflects becomes confused. A soul that never receives compassion becomes hardened. Growth requires softness just as much as it requires strength. When you give yourself rest, you are not stopping your progress, you are fueling it. Just like a phone cannot run if its battery is depleted. You cannot function at your best when you are mentally or emotionally drained. Rest allows your mind to reset, your emotions to settle, and your body to regain energy. It is in quiet moments that your intuition becomes clearer and your thoughts become organized. The world often glorifies hustle, but it rarely acknowledges the power of stillness. Yet it is in stillness that clarity is born. Reflection is another powerful form of growth that many people overlook. In the rush of daily life, you may move from one task to another without ever pausing to understand yourself. Reflection helps you notice patterns. What drains you, what uplifts you, what triggers sadness, what brings you peace. It helps you learn from your past instead of carrying it like a burden. It allows you to see your progress in ways that are not visible externally. When you reflect, you understand yourself deeply, and this understanding becomes the foundation for wiser decisions and healthier choices. Self-compassion is equally important. You may encourage others, forgive others, and stand with others through their challenges. But you often deny yourself the same grace. Growth becomes painful when you walk through it with self-judgment, but it becomes meaningful when you walk through it with kindness. You are human. You will have moments of doubt, frustration, mistakes, and emotional fatigue. To be in the treating yourself like someone you care about allows you to heal instead of hide, learn instead of blame, and grow instead of collapse under pressure. Rest, reflection, and compassion also help you slow down the chaos inside your mind. When you take time to pause you regain control over your thoughts instead of letting them control you. You notice which fears are exaggerated, which worries are unnecessary, and which pressures are self-created. Many problems feel heavier not because they are impossible, but because your mind is tired. A rested mind sees solutions more clearly. A compassionate mind handles challenges with calmness. A reflective mind understands the deeper purpose behind experiences. Another important truth is that growth doesn't happen in a straight line. It happens in cycles. Effort followed by rest, movement followed by pause, intensity followed by recovery. When you allow yourself to embrace this rhythm, you stop fighting life and start flowing with it. You trust the natural process of becoming. You understand that slowing down is not stepping back. It is preparing to move forward with more strength and clarity. These gentle practices also reconnect you with yourself. When you reflect, you rediscover your values. When you rest, you reconnect with your energy. When you show compassion to yourself, you reconnect with your heart. In that reconnection, you find a version of yourself that feels grounded and whole, not rushed, not pressured, not overwhelmed, but centered. Growth doesn't always look like action. Sometimes growth looks like sitting quietly with your feelings, forgiving yourself for not being perfect, taking a break without guilt, or acknowledging that you need time. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of emotional maturity. You are not meant to live in constant tension. You are meant to grow in a way that feels aligned, gentle, and sustainable. There comes a moment in life when you realize that your journey does not have to look like anyone else's, and that realization brings a quiet strength. For years, you may have tried to shape your life according to society's expectations, following timelines that weren't meant for you, comparing your progress with people whose paths are completely different, and pressuring yourself to meet standards that never reflected your true desires. But deep within, there is a truth waiting to be embraced. You have your own pace, your own rhythm, your own story. And it is perfectly okay if it doesn't match the world's pace. Every person grows differently because every person carries a different combination of experiences, challenges, dreams, and strengths. Yet we often forget this simple truth. We rush ourselves because we see others moving faster. We doubt ourselves because we see others achieving sooner. We criticize ourselves because we feel left behind. But comparison is a thief. It steals peace, drains confidence, and blinds you to your own beautiful journey. When you learn to honor your pace, you begin to experience life with more acceptance, clarity, and inner freedom. Your growth may be slow, but slow growth is still growth. Some people bloom early, some bloom later, and some bloom quietly without making noise, but every bloom is valuable. Just because your progress isn't loud doesn't mean it's not meaningful. You might be building your foundation right now, learning things you'll need later, healing wounds you never acknowledged, or preparing internally for opportunities that are still on their way. What looks like stagnation on the outside is often transformation on the inside. You are also allowed to take detours, pause, restart, or rebuild your path entirely. Life is not a straight road, it is a winding journey, full of turns you never expect. Sometimes you need to step back to gain perspective. Sometimes you need to rest to gather strength. Sometimes you need to unlearn before you can grow. These are not delays. They are essential parts of your evolution. When you stop judging yourself for not being ahead, you begin to appreciate the wisdom and resilience you gain along the way. It is also important to recognize that your timeline is shaped by circumstances only you understand. Your battles, responsibilities, emotional wounds, and personal challenges are unique to you. What takes someone else 1 year may take you 5. But your journey teaches you things they may never learn. Your patience, endurance, and inner strength are being built in ways that cannot be rushed. Life is not asking you to speed up, it is asking you to trust the timing meant for you. Your pace is not a flaw, it is a reflection of your authenticity. When you follow your own rhythm, you live with more peace. You make decisions that align with your values, instead of decisions driven by pressure. You appreciate small steps instead of feeling inadequate for not taking giant leaps. You celebrate progress instead of chasing perfection. You become more connected to your inner voice, the one that knows what you need, when you need it, and how you need to move. And perhaps the most freeing truth is this: no one is actually ahead or behind. Everyone is simply living their own story. There is no universal timeline, no single correct path, no competition in life except the one you create in your mind. The moment you embrace your pace, the weight of comparison lifts and you become present in your own journey. You begin to notice the beauty in your growth, the strength in your struggles, and the wisdom in your experiences. You are not late. You are not slow. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to learn what life is preparing you to receive. When you trust your timing, you walk your path with confidence, grace, and peace.